All right, we are going to start today's video off with the end results instead of the beginning, and then we'll roll into the beginning of the video. So on the left here, we have the 8-year DIY detail that's already been washed and water spot removed. In the center, we have HCC by Undrdog, and then on the right, we have Clean by Pan, the 8-year coating. As you can see, but on both sides, the DIY and clean are certainly behaving a certain way. I think the total project has only been about 4 or 5 months, so I don't really feel like we should be seeing this quickly, especially just with a handful of washes and a couple water spot removals. But I think that their answer to this is going to be version 2. But my question to you is how much do you trust version 2 if version 1 failed for both of these companies so quickly? They claimed 8 years, they claimed self-cleaning. Neither one of them are doing that, and obviously neither one of them are going the full gamut. So you tell me, here's the start of the next video. All right, detailing community, it has been a little too long since we did our last wash. We've been pummeled with gnarly weather for the last about month and a half, and we finally got a little bit of a sunny day for me to get in here and do a quick wash. So just to recap, we've got 8-year Clean by Pan over here. We have HCC by Undrdog right in the middle, and we have 8-year by DIY on the passenger side. So if some of you know, it has been raining like crazy in Hawaii the past several weeks. We have had crazy amounts of wind and flash flooding and all kinds of crazy jazz. So I just haven't had the time to be able to get out here and do it. But today is a beautiful day, so let's get her done. I'll give you a little close up of what the paint's looking like after about 2 months out here in Hawaii. Lots of water spots, pretty well even on all the coatings. Got a little bit of rain this morning, so you still got some water spots on there. Looks like I got a rock chip, so I got a little bit of rust cancer going on. No coating is really going to protect against rock chips. But here we have it. So we've got a lot of dust, a lot of dirt. Definitely going to have to do a water spot removal on this one. The buildup is pretty heavy. So there we go. Check that out. Gnarly. So hopefully these coatings have protected the paint and we don't have any permanent damage, which is the point of these things. We don't mind if the coatings get stuff on them. We just want them to protect the paint so the paint doesn't get anything gnarly on it. Okay, we're back in focus. So let's do our initial wet down and we'll take a look and see what everything is doing bead-wise with all this dirt and crap stuck on the surface. So I'll say initially right off the bat, we definitely got some water sticking on DIY a little bit more than HCC. HCC seems to bead pretty nice, and Clean by Pan also kind of holding a little bit. So as you saw, this hasn't been cleaned yet. So I don't expect these coatings to bead perfectly, but you get a real good idea of the difference here. All right, so let's get into it with the soap and water. I am using Undrdog soap, same soap as I've been using on all the other washes. I can definitely feel the water spots on the paint here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and just get soap on the car and let that start kind of loosening up the dirt. And then I'm gonna go back and start scrubbing. Okay. I kind of like to do that a little bit up front, just to loosen up some of the dirt, let the soap do the work. If we can let the chemicals do as much of the work as possible, that means that I don't have to work as hard, which, I don't really like working that hard. I don't know too many people that do, if there's an option not to. So, one thing to notice, which I'm not seeing on DIY or Clean by Pan, is we're already getting separation going on here. And like I said in some of the other videos, to some of you it matters, to some it doesn't. To me, I think it's a good sign that the coating is doing what it's supposed to do. It is still rejecting chemicals and water and all that kind of jazz. It's just something we want to see. And honestly, I'm not really not surprised to see it on the others. Alrighty, so got our first rinse. Like I said in some of the other videos, I think the latter part of these is where you're going to really start to see which coating is shining and which ones aren't. So here's Clean by Pan. Here's HCC. And here's DIY. So what I'm noticing when I rinse is this kind of water behavior right there. The way it's just sticking is telling me that there's water spots in there. And same thing with HCC. It's not as pronounced and bad as this one, but they're there, and that's to be expected. I mean, no coating should or will not have water spots on it after this long. And same thing with Clean by Pan. So as you can see, Clean by Pan and DIY are doing very similar things. And HCC is really starting to stand out amongst those guys. So but we're not going to judge it yet. We're going to go ahead and do a water spot removal treatment because she's been sitting for a while and she needs it. So how I like to do mine, I take WSP from Undrdog straight. I pour it directly onto my mitt. This is not the same mitt that I washed the car with. This is a different mitt, just so I don't neutralize the water spot remover as I'm putting it on. And I'm going to go ahead and apply this to the paint. Just like with the soap, I'm going to let it do most of the work. I'm not going to agitate it right off the bat until I'm ready and she's had a good little sit. Because what I wanted to do is I really just wanted to loosen up the crusted hard deposits from the water onto the paint. And that way when I go to agitate it, it breaks it loose nice and easy. Here we go with that separation again. I'm not really seeing that with Clean by Pan. I guess we got a little bit of it going on here with DIY. I don't know. But we'll go ahead and start agitating. So I'm going to do this probably twice just to make sure I got all the spots off. That's the important thing. I don't want to do this twice. And so I'd rather just get her done the first time, let her soak, do her twice. And that'll make sure I don't have to. All right. Go over there and do a second. Here we go with DIY. We'll go tight little circles. And I'm going to anticipate that this should bounce right back. And we're going to see some good beading going on. One thing though from the last videos is we did have some spots that were kind of looking like they were starting to die. So that's what we're going to be looking for today. Are those spots still there? Have they gotten bigger? More than likely they have. And then we'll talk about that a little bit. Here we go with that separation again. It's a good sign. It's what I want to see. I think pans is starting to do it a little bit too. That is a good sign. That means we've gotten a lot of the stuff off. And these coatings are back to how they're supposed to be. All right, here we go with the reveal. Let me rinse my hand. And let's see what we're working with here. So, HCC right down the middle. DIY on the left-hand side. Clean by pan on the right-hand side. I'm going to go ahead and definitely say that I noticed a difference between the three big time now. Oddly, in my opinion, DIY seems to be doing a little bit better than pan, even though that's not what I would have put my money on. And then HCC has nothing at all, not even a little bit. So let me go ahead, just to satisfy myself here. Let me wash this with soap, just a little quickie. And then we'll flood this panel. I'll take the nozzle off the hose, we'll flood the panel, and see what we're looking at here. To my understanding, I think both of these companies have launched a new version of their 8-year. Maybe I'm mistaken. You guys will have to let me know. I'm pretty sure they did. Which kind of opens up a topic of conversation of launching products, putting longevities on them, finding out after about a year that they don't do what you said that they were going to do, and then launching a version 2, which to me doesn't really give me much confidence that any of your stuff is going to do what you said it was going to do if you already have to go to version 2 before the first year of version 1 is done. You know what I'm saying? But who knows? All right, so get this soap off here. DIY is not looking too bad. I mean, it's definitely not looking like it did on day one, that's for sure. But I had my money on this one failing first, actually. And if I had to be honest, it actually looks like clean by pan is going to be the first one to take a dookie. Look at that, the water just sticks. That's not what you want to see after somebody calls something a pro-year coating that lasts for 8 years. I don't want to see that. I watched your videos, I believed you, I trusted you, I bought your stuff because you told me that this would work after you've had several years of 5-star reviews and nothing bad, and then this happens. So I don't know, it doesn't really put a lot of trust in me. Let's see here. Now I got to turn off my hose so I can get my nozzle off, and then we'll flood this bad boy. Let's see what happens next. Well, maybe we won't, because I can't get my nozzle off because my son put the nozzle on a little too hard. Oh well. All right, here we go. One last rinse for the tube. All right, you guys be the judge. I really think we got maybe 1 or 2 more washes left before clean by pan is completely gone. We'll see. Maybe we got a couple more on DIY. HCC hasn't degraded at all. It's doing exactly what we want it to. I'm not surprised by that at all. So my plan after these ones go bad is I will leave HCC in the middle, and then we are going to coat this side probably with System X, and then we're going to do this side with G-Technic, and we're going to leave HCC standing for the whole time because I really think it's the best coating in the industry, and I think that it will outlast every other coating on the market 5 to 1 guaranteed. So you guys let me know what you think. I appreciate you watching, and tune in for next time.